Testing 1 2 3, testing 1 2 3. It's Tuesday, and it is 1 week since the election. And things hopefully that the grieving and the gloating have now finally come to an end. And we're going to have a little fun today, but hopefully it'll also be a little bit useful to you. Maybe even something that will help you live a little better life. Maybe help you be a little bit happier, a little bit more optimistic, no matter what your feelings are about the election. My name is Stan. I'm the radio man, and you see the title. And by the way, this is just radio now. We're about half and half. I oftentimes now do my podcasts as videos, and then there's a video cast, and then there is a audio cast. But this is all real radio, just me and my voice today. And you saw the title correct. Should DJ Trump become a real DJ and do a radio program? Let's see where that conversation leads, because I'm not quite sure, but I know we'll end up somewhere, and that program begins right now. Well, here we go. Yes, it just hit me as I was writing things down. DJT. And as you notice, and my friend Kevin helped point this out, is that Donald J. Trump doesn't really have a signature. It's almost unreadable, but it's a very unique autograph. He actually signs all of his things in autograph fashion. And we were talking about that because perhaps everybody needs to have not only a signature, which is a signature of legal reality. It means that you are saying, by putting your name there, that this is true, this is real, this is who I really am, and this is my name. But could it be that you also, as a creator, as a person who does the kind of work that merits a little bit of a signature statement, as well as perhaps an acknowledgement of something good, perhaps you also need to have your own personal autograph? Well, do you have a signature? Do you have an autograph? And maybe do you even have a signature statement? Well, here we go. One of the ways that I have described myself from time to time is that I'm a slightly overeducated disc jockey, because that's kind of a description of me. I've always loved radio, but I was a teacher for a number of years, and then I got really involved in radio, but then as well as involved in radio, I became a business performance coach. But I was also one of the first persons to use radio stuff in my performance coaching. As I've pointed out to you, and perhaps you'd like to hear more of the story sometimes, I'm kind of the inventor of this new, now it is mainstream phenomenon called podcasting. I'm one of the first persons to do that, and I'm now in the business of helping you do that. And I'm ready to help you get on the radio. Now, here we go. I've said many years before. Now, when Donald Trump first ran for office, I did a couple online programs, and I think they're still around, and actually they're quite good. And I didn't take any position on the politics of it. I just simply said that you could learn something about business from Donald Trump, because he had obviously been very successful as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. He had gone through all kinds of things and established a huge business empire. He also had gone flat broke and had a comeback, and he called himself the Comeback Kid, was kind of his signature statement for a while. And then, of course, he moved on and he became a TV star. I mean, he had this incredible TV program called The Apprentice. And so, and I probably should dig those programs out because they're probably still available somewhere. I don't know, about how you could learn things about business from him. Not necessarily an admiration of his personality or of his processes or of his politics, but just you could learn something that could be helpful and useful to you in terms of how he did business. But what I pointed out at that time was that in the presidential situation, he was at that time, and I think it's pretty much still true today, he was one of the few who had actually had what we call broadcast experience. I've been on the radio for over 40 years. I've been doing radio and video for many, many years, and I've done thousands of radio programs and hundreds of video programs, and I kind of, after that stretch of time, I kind of know how to do it. And I've learned a lot. And a lot of that learning has come through stupidity, doing things wrong, and then learning how to do them right. Sometimes it's been because I've been a pretty good observer, of a watcher of people who were really good, and then I tried to learn from the people who were really good. And then I also learned from the people who weren't very good, and that was a helpful way of saying, I don't want to come off that way. I don't want to be seen that way. I want to be seen as something different. That was helpful to know who I didn't want to be like on the radio. And so part of what you see and have experienced in DJ Trump is just that. He's a disc jockey. He connects with people in some very simple ways. And he has a touch of humor, a touch of a ragged edge. Yeah. And part of that's on purpose, just as some of the people who get your attention because they have a little bit of shock. We used to call them shock jocks in their system of performances. So all of that is there. And as Rush Limbaugh pointed out, if you're really good at the radio and have a large audience, you'll also have a lot of people who don't like you, who don't want to listen to you, who don't really appreciate you. And as he points out, that's part of the deal. And in effect, as we often say, if you try and reach everybody and please everybody with everything, you'll probably reach nobody with nothing and land up pleasing very few people. Find out who you are, what your message is, what your program is, who your audience is, and then find ways to connect, engage, make them smile, make them laugh, make them mad, give them something to think about, and then recommend that they buy something. And that's how you'll probably be more successful. I wonder if right now, and I think he might, remember, this goes back more than a few years ago, is the weekly presidential little radio program. It was a little 4.5, 5 minutes. Hardly anybody ever listened to it, and I'm still trying to figure out where it originated, and I didn't have a chance to look it up right now. But it always was a little statement that the president put out, and it could be a subject for the weekend news podcast or the weekend radio programs at that time. But I'm wondering if perhaps Trump will pick up on that. I'm just wondering about that. Now, as we know, and right now, at least a number of you do, this election has been called the podcast election. And of course, that made me smile because I've been saying now for many years is that eventually podcasting will be the primary means of communication, that the traditional radio programs with their huge towers, their huge and expensive transmitters, and the fact that once the radio program has been produced and put on air, unless you happen to have some recording device, you can't listen to it again. It's gone forever. But today's podcasts don't cost hardly any money to produce, and anybody can listen to them, not only in their car, but on any of the modern digital machines, from your phone to your iPad to your tablet to your computer, and you can do it anytime you want, anywhere you want, and you can keep it and share it with others. That will be the future. And so we are in the business of helping you become a world-class broadcast podcaster. If you're involved, as I am, in a production of things that are near and dear to my faith, we oftentimes say we'll help you become a world-class Jesus broadcaster. So you can tell the story, share a bit of God's wisdom, and do it in an entertaining and engaging way. And of course, that always bothers some people. But as I point out, once you are on the media, you have to understand that most people will view it as something that should, in some time, some way, engage them and perhaps entertain them. Whether it be your chatter, whether it be your conversation, whether it be your music, whether it be the fact that you have energy and personality. But remember, they don't have to listen to you. They are not caught in a seminar. They are not caught in a church service or a place of worship. They are not caught in a business meeting. They can certainly, just as sometimes we wish we could, just get up and say, this is boring, this is a waste of time, I'm not going to listen to this program, this presentation, this sermon, this stuff anymore, I'm leaving, because that's what they can do. So I'm just wondering if, with some of his certain broadcasting skills, if DJ Trump will decide to be a DJ once again. That'll be interesting to see how he does his deal. I'm Stan Husted. The program is Interesting Ideas. Let me try and bring it home to you in just a few minutes. Just now. We'll take a break. And of course, here is where hopefully this will be a little bit useful to you. Right now, the world is going to be in a major state of change. Donald Trump has indicated within the week that he is going to change a lot of things about the government and how it operates. But I also would help you to better understand part of his appeal is he isn't seeking to change us. And that's where so many people go wrong. He's not trying to make you believe in global warming and then do something. If you believe in global warming, do something. But don't particularly try and make us who don't believe in it or don't want to believe in it. Don't make us drive cars we don't want to drive. Don't make us think ways we don't want. Don't make us change if we don't want to change. Now, what I point out in my transformation program is we're only here if you're interested. We're not trying to transform you or change you or make you better if you don't want to be. And so many of the political and pressure point issues that got people riled up was the fact that people were trying to avoid being changed or have to deal with changes that they don't want. And what Trump has primarily said is those things that those people and those rules and regulations that you don't want, fine. We don't want to make you think, believe, or do things you don't want to. And we're going to try and protect you from people who are trying to change you in ways that you don't want to change. Remember that. Just think about that in the business and life you do. Certainly give people opportunities, be educators, promoters, prophets, teachers, however. But, if people want to change, let them make the decision themselves. Think about that. As I oftentimes say, a truth told is good but seldom heard. A truth revealed has greater yield. A truth discovered is best of all, and a truth imposed is no truth at all. Just be so good and persuasive and kind and gracious so people discover the truth for themselves and make the change in a way that pleases them, that they want, and see that perhaps things will actually go better for us all. There we go. Think about that. Also, I'm very clear. Whether you want to do what we do or not, you have to understand it. This last election has been called the podcast election. It is the coming medium for communication in our world today. Podcasting, streaming, the old radio and cable and all of the broadcast means will be around for some time. But because of the cost and the sustainability issues, and because of the great advantage of the cheaper and actually better means of communication, things like we do will work and win the day. And you better understand how they work, just as you better understand how artificial intelligence is going to work with the podcasting, streaming, and cabling and communicating of today. That's what you'll need to do, and no one's going to make you learn it or do it, but if you want to make it in the world that's before us now, you'll probably have to make that decision to learn and do some things yourself. Take care. I'm Stan, the Radio Man. Reach out to me at stanhusted@gmail.com. stanhusted@gmail.com. All the best and blessings, and have a useful day. Make a few friends, and perhaps make sure that not only are you blessed, but perhaps you're going to try and bless a few others. Pass it on. Bye for now.